Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another video. Today I'm going to be doing another gear review on the Dynamis Alliance Blade. I had mentioned this before in the Dynamis Alliance belt review that I did. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check out that link. I'll post it below or somewhere on the screen depending on how you're watching this. And so again, be sure to check out the Dynamis Alliance belt review, which I'm also wearing again today. But then I have the Blade, and I'm rocking their shirt again for another Dynamis Alliance video. Figured I'd, support their gear. This is actually a really, really comfortable t-shirt. Absolutely love it. Has the Dynamis logo on this side. Has, what is it, Fight for Freedom over here, and then it has American down the back. So this is actually a really cool t-shirt. I like it, nice and soft. But anyway, we're here to talk about the Dynamis Alliance Blade. So I carry this in the appendix position. I'm going to show you a lot more close-ups of the, probably do like a tabletop version, just kind of like I did with the belt and a lot of the other stuff that I do. Show you the sheath, how it clips on to the pants, and yeah, so let's get started into it. Okay, just so like I did with the belt review, it's the same thing with the blade. I'm going to show you this position here, and then I'll switch to more of like a tabletop. We got a bench right behind here, so I'll do a little bit more of a tabletop so I can show you some close-ups and really get into it. So anyway, again, this is the Dynamis Alliance belt. If you haven't checked out that video, go do that. I'm going to take this off for now and just show you, because you actually don't even need any belt for this type of blade with the way that their sheath is set up. This is one of the things I really, really like about this. So I'm just going to show you this. So actually, maybe I don't even need to do a tabletop. This will be pretty good, right? So you got the blade sheath here, and this is the clip. These are called their zero clips. So you have this piece right in here that's called the cloth grabber. And that's going to catch any material as you're trying to pull the blade out of the sheath. As this upward force gets applied, it's going to, see right there, see if I can focus that a little bit better. And it's going to catch any material there, and as you notice, this actual piece right here comes out, which means there's room here for material. So this is actually a tuckable blade, tuckable sheath. So you can actually have it in pants like this, and then you can actually tuck your shirt into your pants. And if you have a belt going right over it, so if I were to tuck this all the way in, all the way around, completely comfortable, not noticeable at all. And if you did need to access it, of course, you would just rip the shirt up this way, and then you have access to it right there. Okay, so the grip is really, 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 really comfortable. I love this grip. It is micarta handle. I know previous versions were rubber, but now they're all doing the micarta. There's jimmping all over the place on this blade here, the back, and even here where the thumb ramp is. So you notice this actually goes a little bit wider for that thumb ramp. Really comfortable. The fingers fit in there. Really, really easy. The blade that I got is a single edge blade, so it's only on this side. You can get a double edge blade where it would be sharp from here all the way down. Spear tip, which is really, really nice. This is made out of, I'm going to completely mess this up, and I should have probably done it ahead of time. C3P MOV steel, if I'm saying it right. Anyway, I'm not a steel guy, but this is one of the hardest steels out there apparently that they use for knives. I've actually watched videos even before getting this. They weren't using this knife, but I saw someone who had a blade made out of this exact same steel, and he was batoning cinder blocks with his blade. So this is more of a self-defense weapon, but this has been tested numerous times by tier 1 operators, special forces, things like that, because the guy who designed it, Dom Rosso, along with Daniel Winkler, sure they still have some kind of connections overseas, and they have guys testing out all their equipment, which is one of the cool things about Dynamis Alliance. They do a lot of testing for their products. It actually took me a really long time to get this, well, a little bit longer than expected, because the company that was making their sheath for them, or that does make their sheaths, one of their pieces of the machine broke, and one of the rivets or something like that I guess just makes the hole for the clip broke. And so they had to fix and repair the machine, and Dynamis had gotten a shipment in of the sheaths and they weren't up to their standards, and they sent them back and they rejected them, and they didn't want to just send me a blade with a defective sheath that they didn't feel met their standards. So I really appreciated that. The sheath has a drainage hole right here, if you could see. I thought I just kind of saw a little light shining through there. Anyway, there's a drainage hole right here. Yeah, you can see that. There's a drainage hole. That hole opening right there is just in case there's any water or anything like that. Of course, it would be in this position. The water would drip down from there. The zero clip is really nice. That's fairly new. This is a little, put that back in and slide it in. If you actually notice, this is injection molded Kydex sheath, but you'll notice that it's really quiet coming out and there's no click as you go in. It's just using retention. So there's retention throughout here as I'm pulling out. I'm actually pulling up pretty good because it's meant to not wiggle. You know, this actually does not move at all. That's this moving. So if I just do this, you can't hear anything, right? It's in there, it's solid. And so when it's meant to be on your pants, and the cool thing again about this is that it's any type of material. So whether you're wearing board shorts, athletic pants, if women carry this and they have yoga pants on, anything, it's just gonna be right on there. So it's still retention, and then right there at the very end, it comes out. So, and then when you go back in, it's right there, it's already grabbing, and then sometimes I usually just hold it this way and pinch, squeeze with this hand, and then push it all the way back in. And the one thing is that you can do it this way, okay, or you can go in there. So you have both angles. So if it was like this, and you wanted to grip it this way and pull straight up, you can do that, or you can have a reverse grip. Now you're here, and then you grab it, and it's super comfortable to grab. I mean, and you have a really good purchase on the whole thing because enough of it sticks up that you can get so much of your hand around it. Plus you have this little ramp right here as kind of a guide as to where you're at, and then you bring the thumb over there to complete it, and then just pull it right out. So I love this thing. I really do. I wear it every single day. It's a great self-defense knife. It is sleek. The sheath, as you'll notice, is not much bigger. Sorry, I was actually looking at the, let me do it this way. It's not much bigger than the actual blade itself, which is awesome because I've carried other self-defense knives, or at least knives for self-defense, and the sheath is really cumbersome. There's sharp edges on the sheath on these other products, and this has no sharp edges at all. Everything's completely rounded, completely smooth. You know, the single center point retention right here. So this way, you know, I was actually using another blade before, and I attached the ulti clip out here to the rivets that it had on the side, or the holes that it had on the side, so you can hook up different things. And it was just off to the side. And then when you pull it out this way, if you ever need to, it's not directly in the center. So it shifts and cants and all this kind of stuff. So this is just right there, perfect. And I love the shape of it. I love the feel of it. They put a lot of thought into this. And that's why one of the reasons I wanted to do a review. I actually didn't even see a whole lot of people that have done reviews on this blade yet. So maybe this will actually spark something. And then of course they have their Dynamis logo right there, the A. The Spartan A, as I call it, right there on their sheath. So I can't say enough of good things about this. You know, I've never actually had to use it. Luckily, I guess. One last thing I noticed: they laser engrave all of their blades. Actually, this might be backwards because of the way I have the camera. But it's anyway. It says Dynamis Winkler knives. That's who makes it. Winkler knives, and then this was number 1023. So they number all of their blades, and they etch that in there too. So I thought that was really cool. And you know, this is something that I'm going to take care of, and I'm going to give it to my son one day because he actually likes blades and knives too. So you know, I put a little bit of oil on the blade just to kind of keep it, you know, nice and lubricated, so this way it doesn't form any kind of rust. If I see anything like that, you can always take a little bit of steel wool, apparently, and get that off. They have done a video, one of their guys, Dylan, who's one of their instructors, has done a video on like taking care of the blade, so you can always check that video out on how to take care of it. But you know, just a little bit of oil. I use a little bit of mineral oil. I'm sure there's like Teflon based oils that you can use, but I figured if I ever needed to cut into my burger or something like that, I don't want to use anything with Teflon in it, right? You can always ingest mineral oil if you need to. So anyway, check it out. I'll post a link below on where you can find out more about it. Well worth the investment, because I'll tell you why. So it retails for well, this one retails for $4.99, and it comes with the sheath, which is made by a completely separate company. Then it comes with the blade, and that's made by a completely separate company, Winkler Knives. And then it comes with a training blade, which I actually didn't feature. Let me grab that real quick and I'll jump right back to this. Okay, so the training blade is right here. So aluminum, red of course, so you can tell that it's actually a training blade. Let me put this down for a second. Okay, and same thing. Clicks right in, reverse grip, forward grip, anything you want. You can tell that there's the training blade in there because you can see through it with the red. Perfect, fits the same way, looks exactly the same way. And you know, if you actually needed to go somewhere, you know, if they had metal detectors, I'm sure this would still set it off. But if you needed to go somewhere and you didn't actually want to even carry a live blade, but you still wanted to be able to defend yourself with a non-lethal option, this would be it. This thing is super hard, super aggressive, and this will definitely inflict a lot of damage for you, especially if you're worried about cutting yourself or something like that. There's no hard edges on this at all. Everything's completely smoothed out. So, you know, I use this. I use the live blade to train with, and actually, you know what? Let's go over and I'll show you a couple how they actually perform on like a test dummy. Okay, so this is my knife board that I made after I got done doing one of their courses called Situational Combatives. I designed this. Basically just has like foam padding, and then I did a wooden frame with a cross beam in it, I believe it is, and then I just took some horse stall mats, which is the mats in my studio. They're 3/4 inch recycled tires, and they're meant for horses. So it's 4 by 6 foot, and it's like a $40 mat. So I just cut that up, and then I screwed this whole piece into the wall, into the studs, and then I screwed the horse stall mat onto the frame, and I basically just use this, and it doesn't damage the wall, and it's been working out great. So anyway, I'm going to show you, right now I have the training blade. I'll show you how that performs on this, and then I have the live blade, and I'll show you how that performs. So this would be really easy. You don't actually have to have a horse stall mat. You could also just use something like wood, but it's going to get a lot more messed up. Something like this actually receives the blade itself, the live blade, as you'll see. But if you're here, you know, you could just do some of your drills. One of the things I'll show you that they showed us, it's called their shield draw. You come up this way, and you're actually covering your face. It's here this way, and you're getting your blade, and then here this way. This actually doesn't even penetrate. There's already a couple holes in here from all the live blade use, and as you can see, it's kind of, you know, marked up. But right there, and you know, I'm hitting pretty hard, and it's still really comfortable. I mean, you can, of course, you can feel it a little bit, but what do you expect? You know, you have something, you know, metal in your hand. But for something like that, that's really going to do a lot of damage. If you ever had to do it in real life, like, you can go full force using something like this, and it's really comfortable in the hand. So again, put it back in there, and then, you know, something like that. So really comfortable. All right, so now I'll show you the live blade. Okay. So same thing. I always just try to practice with like a non-violent posture, so you're kind of seeing how I train a little bit here. So here, up, sticks in. So I mean, it gets pretty deep. So, you know, from using the rubber, it probably went in and stuck in at least that far to the rubber, which is, again, is 3/4 inch recycled tires. But you know, it's just it doesn't actually damage the blade. Like I said, this is really hard steel. So I mean, this thing is a beast. a beast. So if you're gonna buy something like this, you're gonna want to train with it, and you're gonna want to get those reps in, and you're gonna want to be comfortable with it, because God forbid you ever needed to use something like this, which I only use for would only use for self-defense purposes. I always carry just a regular pocket knife if I'm going to cut open Amazon boxes and packages, or just something random, you know, zip ties somewhere, or, you know, I got to cut some tape or whatever it is, you know. So I'm never using this for everyday utility stuff. You know, this is an investment, and I just love blades. I always have. So I felt like, you know what, if I'm going to use something and train with something, which I like to do, then I want to have the right tools to do it. And that's really comfortable, the training blade. And then of course, this one is for everyday purposes. But I train with this too, but it feels exactly like that, just a little bit heavier, of course, because it's different metal, that's aluminum. So again, here, up, boom. And then of course, if you're training with a live blade, not that this is an instructional video, but if you're training with a live blade, just be really, really careful. Make sure if your other hand is in the way, you're not too close, okay? So here, and you're using this as a guide hand, and here, okay? So anyway, just wanted to show you how it kind of performed a little bit. Hopefully you liked that and that was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will post a link to the blade that you can buy. You can actually buy the training blade by itself, you can buy the sheath by itself, and you can buy the blade by itself. I would recommend buying the whole package if you don't have anything. Sometimes Dynamis runs different promotions around holidays and things like that, so maybe you can catch a coupon code. It's like a $15 flat fee for shipping, so that's not that bad. And depending on if they have them in stock, you can get it within a few weeks. Sometimes it takes all the way from 10 to 12 weeks. I actually had to wait basically like 12 weeks because of the back ordering with the sheaths, but it was well worth the wait. I love it now. So thanks Dynamis, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.